Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Mark My Brain. Today I'm joined once again by my dear friend Sam.
Hello, it's great to be here again. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining me. Today's topic will be all about our university studies and university experience. We'll explore what are the main benefits of university studies, in our opinion, in what areas did university help us grow, what skills did we acquire, what could be improved upon in universities, in our opinion, of course. And I guess the overarching topic or question that will follow us throughout this episode is it worth it? So
Yeah.
let's do you have anything to add, Sam, to that?
It's an interesting topic, and as we are both in our masters, as we probably will discuss further on, we might have some insights for people starting out or thinking about university, or also are thinking about different countries. As we have experienced different academic systems, we can compare and contrast maybe benefits and cons as well of both systems.
Yes, definitely. Uh, yeah. For people that are just now deciding whether or not to go to university, for people that are thinking about, for example, changing universities or going to study abroad, maybe this episode can highlight some of the aspects of all those experiences.
For sure. It's a great experience regardless, but it also has some points to consider, something you have to keep in mind, and also the choice of what to do, where to go to is a big one, especially when you're just out of school or thinking about transitioning from something else to studying. So we do understand the aspect of really considering, thinking about it, and evaluating your options.
Yeah, well said. So let's just do a very quick intro to what we are studying. So Sam, please start.
Yeah, of course.
What are you studying? Tell us.
I am studying business administration in my master's in Germany, and have done so in my bachelor's as well. Prior to that, I've done 4 semesters of mathematics. So I can also speak to different subjects and how you might transition from something you would enjoy more, and how you could do that, and what decisions you have to take in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So how about you, Mark?
Perfect. Yeah, we're actually in a very similar position, I would say, because I also study business administration. Excuse me. I studied it also in my bachelor's. Now I'm in my master's. So yeah, I think in this area we are on the similar level. Also, in that, as you mentioned, that we are nearing the end of our studies. We are both deciding on the topic of for our master thesis, and in a year or so we'll be hopefully finished successfully.
Yes. Yeah.
But in general, what is your opinion on university? Just, is it worth it? Is it good for you?
Yes. Personally, I love it. I enjoy that possibility of learning, of developing myself in different areas, of having the possibility to interact with a lot of people that are also passionate and interested
Mm-hmm.
in things I'm also interested in. So for me, universities are a great place, a great inspiration, and I would always do it again. However, that being said, there are also areas of it that you have to consider when making the choice, and really understand if that's something you would enjoy doing, if you would maybe flourish more in a different setting. So for me, it's been amazing, and a great source of inspiration. But I will think we come to those topics later on.
Mm-hmm.
You have to decide for yourself.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Like, generally, good, bad? What's your opinion?
I'd say good. Although when I was deciding if I want to go to university or not, I actually wasn't sure at all. For quite some time, I was considering just not going because I didn't really have a specific or concrete idea what university could give me. Uh, why should I do it? What are the benefits? So in the mind of young Mark, there was the question like, shouldn't I already start working to make money? Like, isn't
Right.
it the goal? So why wait? What
Yeah.
can the university give me? So maybe that's a great segue to one of the key areas I would like to touch upon in this
Sure.
podcast. What do you feel like are the main benefits you get or got when going through university?
That's a great question. For me, I would have to kind of divide it in two areas.
Mm-hmm.
First, the subject specific knowledge. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, I study business administration. I should know a thing or two about that area. And of course, doing it for now already almost 4 years, 4.5 years, with my bachelor and now my master's in 3 different countries. There's certainly a lot of things I've learned, and I've realized that I do have a better understanding of the world around me, the mechanisms of how companies function, and how certain areas can be improved or can be worked upon. Um, so that area, of course, you learn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're exposed to it, you're also interested in it, and you can discuss it with people that you are similarly, I would say, immersed in the studies with. So that's a great avenue, I would say, is a real benefit. So like a concentrated knowledge, and also knowledge that is on a quite high level, compared to maybe high school, or if you just learn it by yourself, it's quite well structured in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, I would say even a bigger aspect of the real knowledge is, for me at least, the ability to think critically and think through problems
Mm-hmm.
and work independently on a larger goal in a way, because that's maybe a point we will discuss in also a more negative aspect of studies, that you have to decide for yourself if that's something you can do or not. Is you have to be quite self-sufficient, you have to have your own drive, you have to kind of organize yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's less school in a way, that it's given to you every week, every lesson. You're more in your own driver's seat of acquiring knowledge, and I would say that's for me the biggest benefit of going through university, acquiring that skill set of how to structure something to learn, how to develop it, how to stick with it, how to find your way through that challenge. And studying is a challenge, and so growing with that would be my biggest benefit. But
Well
enough from
said.
me.
Well
What
said.
about you?
That's great insights, actually. Yeah. For me, actually, I don't really think about the subject specific knowledge too much. Like, I know that I got some. And one thing that I like about studying business administration is that you get knowledge from a lot of different areas.
Yes.
It's not narrow. So for example, I know a bit about accounting, marketing, financial management, leadership, and all the different aspects of conducting business, which is something that for me is nice. I like it. I like to diversify my knowledge and interests. So that's nice, but definitely it isn't the main thing that comes to mind when I think about the benefits that university gave me. Mm, the biggest areas I grew in, I would say, from going to university are definitely the personal ones. I see in myself a lot of changes for the better.
Yeah.
uh, as you said, the university helps you develop a sort of independence in how you organize like task that you have to do, how you organize your work. You also have to manage, of course, your own, I would say, maybe ambition, or like the um, where you are going, in
Definitely.
university. In masters, for example, you have to choose your own specialization, and of course different subjects and projects you can work on.
Sure.
So yeah, I see a lot of growth and benefits I got in that area. I definitely got more confident in
Mm-hmm.
myself that I can do certain tasks. I know how to handle different problems, different types of problems, and as you also mentioned, like think them through. uh, that point actually reminded me a thing that a Canadian professor, Jordan Peterson,
Mm-hmm.
that's somewhat infamous these days, but he said that what universities or schools often don't tell you about, for example, why you should write different essays or why you should write thesis, is that thinking is basically, or sorry, writing is basically thinking.
Right.
That
In what way?
in the process of you writing out the
Mm-hmm.
thesis, the problem, the essay on a specific topic, you think it through, and it helps
Mm-hmm.
you structure your thoughts, and again maybe focus your thoughts on a specific goal, for example. And in
Mm-hmm.
that area, mm, I feel like that's true. Like that really helped me, because at least in my university we got a lot of essays, a lot of homework, if you
Mm-hmm.
will, that you just have to write out,
Right.
and
Instead of exams or
no,
just
just in
additional.
general, yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately, sometimes
Yeah.
instead of exams,
Mm-hmm.
but usually just as a part of the whole
Okay.
curriculum of the subject or course. So I have a lot of experiences. I have written a lot of essays,
Mm-hmm.
and actually, some time ago, I just came across like my some of my older essays from the beginning of my bachelor studies,
Mm-hmm.
and I read a part, and it's fascinating to see like how differently I wrote, and also I can see in how I wrote the thoughts I had and how I
Right.
thought about certain things. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, to tie it all, I really think that the university helps you develop, as you said, critical thinking, the
Mm-hmm.
focus on problems, the ability to solve the problems
Mm-hmm.
and different problems from a variety of ways.
Mm-hmm.
It equips you with, I would say, soft tools.
For sure.
Uh, yeah, maybe that's also a great distinction, like soft versus hard skills.
Yeah. What would you argue were the biggest soft and hard skills you took away from it? I mean, you touched upon a lot of aspects already, but if
Mm-hmm.
you had to say your top soft skill and top hard skill,
Hmm. Actually,
hard to argue, but you can also say a list of them. Like, what would you
hmm, hmm,
say
hmm.
to an aspiring student? This is the value proposition of studying at a university.
Hmm. For the soft skills, immediately two things come to mind, and it's the critical thinking, under which I imagine the ability to solve the problems, to analyze them, all
Mm-hmm.
that package,
Yeah.
and then self presentation,
Right.
like, or presentation skills,
Yes.
because we had to present a lot of our projects and a lot of our work we did. And again, the practice and the exercise, because we did it so much, helped at least me
Yeah.
gain confidence, and it really helped me get my presentations to next level, I would say.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, that's an important skill to have in today's business world, as well as just general life,
Yes.
to be able to present or to reflect what you think is true or what you think is
Mm-hmm.
important. And so I actually also think that that's one of the areas that university really helps you.
Maybe communication skills in general, because you
Yeah,
also have
that's a great
to
point. Yeah.
you also have to work in teams, so division of work, communicating
True.
with teammates.
True. And also communicating your knowledge in a way that it's understandable for maybe people that aren't also studying your subject, which is
Yes.
also quite important, I would
Yeah.
argue.
Yeah.
And hard skills to top it off.
Hard skills. Ooh.
Otherwise, I can
A
also
hard
start
question.
with my soft skills. And
Yeah,
then-
maybe tell me about
Yes.
your soft skills.
So, I mean, you touched upon the big areas already, I would argue. For me, it's also communication skills, how to structure work also with a lot of people involved, be it in a group setting or be it with you having to interact with your professors, of kind of finding your way, your direction of the work you're going to do. It's incredibly important to be able to communicate what you would like to do, but also communicate challenges and find a solution for them, as well as just presenting your overall findings, as it helps a bit if you do it for yourself, but it really brings a lot of people forward if you are able to communicate it and also kind of share your passion for the subject with them. That being said, you don't have to be hugely passionate about your subject. You should be interested in it, of course, but that's not a prerequisite, so don't be discouraged by that. But yeah, other than that, just kind of confidence in that way that you know a lot of things. You learn a lot about a certain subject. Of course, it's just the beginning. Like when you start working, you're maybe at 5%, and then the rest comes during working. But
Yes.
of course, you know a lot about certain topics on a theoretical standpoint. You know how research is conducted. You can also conduct research yourself and even understand research areas or research practices in other fields of studies that you're maybe not an expert in, but you can generally understand how their research is being structured, what could be the important areas to look at. And so that's, I would say, is a immensely soft and immensely important skill. Coming to the hard skills, just theoretical knowledge. Like for me, it's a knowledge of course, certain areas in business administration, but also just hard skills in a way of I know how to work certain statistical models. I know how to program stuff. I know how to structure presentations. I know how to kind of develop a red string throughout the stuff I want to talk about, I want to communicate. And so doing that over and over again is the best way to learn it, because you get feedback along the way. You have to do it. You have to grow with the challenge. So I would say that would be the soft and hard skills for me that were important.
Well said. Yeah. It makes sense. Also, a thing that you reminded me of. I think that university gave me the ability to sort of zoom in or zoom out on a project.
That's
if it's
a really
necessary.
great point. Yeah.
So the ability to focus either on details, but also keep in mind the
big picture.
The big picture of the whole project or business. And I think again that is something that is important.
For sure.
At least in our industry, maybe, or in business.
But I mean, also in life in general. I mean, sure, university prepares you for your, let's say, job world or your journey within the working class industry. But it's also a school for life. You learn a lot of skills that are also applicable to your own life. Talking about being in the details and seeing the bigger picture. I could also say it's important to know in life or have a certain rough sketch in mind of, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this today, but also have that big picture in mind and be able to kind of zoom in, zoom out between those perspectives and think about maybe a path you want to take or certain path that you find interesting.
Yeah, that is actually accurate, I would say. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. A quick stop. I thought of a hard skill that
Yes.
is probably the top hard skill that the university gave me.
Tell us.
Of course, there is the theoretical knowledge that you mentioned, but I think the hard skill I get from university the most is academic writing.
Yeah.
Because I've actually already found it very useful in my own, not really personal life, but professional for sure. So that is a skill that I'm actually a bit surprised, or was a bit surprised, how much use it has. The ability to find relevant sources, to cite them, to work with them, do the research. Have your claims backed up by something in a specific format that has actually become very valuable.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, it's great if you are comfortable in expressing thoughts quite concisely or communicating your topics in a structured manner. So, would you say those skills we talked about, soft and hard, is something you can only get at a university, or is it something you can also acquire somewhere else? Or is it harder to acquire it somewhere else? What would you say?
Yeah, I would probably say that it's harder to acquire them somewhere else. It, of course, isn't impossible, definitely. In today's world, with information and internet, you can learn almost anything, even from your own home. But the benefit of the university is that it gives you a concise package, structured plan in what you want to study. You have professionals teaching you this stuff. There is some accreditation and some value behind that. It's not just a random YouTube video that might have the correct facts, but also might not have the correct facts. Or something in this something like this. But what might be very difficult to find somewhere else is the community, I would say.
That's true, yeah.
Because I feel like at high school, you don't really function with the other students as you do in university. High school is still very like childlike, I would say, or more childlike.
Yeah.
In your university, you become, I would say, mostly your own person, with your own goals and ambitions and dreams.
That's true.
And you work with other people just like that. And
it's really motivating also to have that community around you.
Yes.
In the rough parts, but also in the highlights of your studies. It's hugely rewarding to do that with people that also have the similar interest and similar passions.
For sure.
Yeah.
But after you exit university, you basically usually go work somewhere, and I would say you kind of lose that community around the university.
Yeah, or you don't have it that readily available anymore. I think it really becomes then more on yourself to keep that structure, keep that network up. And
yes.
Of course, of the people, but also of that mental stimulation of still wanting to learn, still having that hunger to still grow and not be complacent.
Actually, yeah, I think university is an environment that facilitates these qualities, right?
Yes.
It helps you just naturally connect with other inspirational people. It helps you to get motivated and chase your dreams, and maybe fire up that hunger, as you said. After that, it's entirely on your own. So I would say you can get those things that university gives you elsewhere as well, but it's much harder.
And one important aspect, at least for me, everybody has to decide for themselves, but for me it's also hugely important to gain that regular feedback. I mean, one could argue, I have to learn for the exam again. I have to hand in a paper, whatever, do the presentation. But it really helps you to get that honest feedback of this is where you stand, this is your current knowledge level, and also, more importantly, these are the areas that you still need to improve upon. And
A great point, yeah.
it really helps you to have that structure, to have that also, in a way, the need to do something to progress. Because I feel like, well, you might get the content for free on YouTube. You can even watch like entire lecture series on certain things from great universities, but you don't have that environment or the need to really learn it. You can just listen to it, you can gain some passive knowledge, but I would say the big point of university, or the big benefit for me at least, is that it pushes you to make active knowledge out of it, to really engage with the topic, engage with the lecturer, engage with the professor, the students, and also the coursework, and get honest feedback on what you did and how you did it.
Yeah.
And that's for me also one, in addition to your points, one of the biggest points of why I would argue the university experience is great, and really helps you in that. But I mean, it also has some downsides. While it's great, it also has some challenging aspects to it. We talked about the need, or the soft skill you learn of self-organization, of
Oh,
kind of
yes.
structuring a problem, of
Time
working through
management.
it. Time management is a big one as well. And that's an area you really need to develop, you need to focus on, and it is a challenge. You
Oh, for
don't
sure.
get forced to do something unless the time is ripe to hand it in. And you have to decide if that's something you excel in. For example, in my case, I really enjoy that. I do struggle with it sometimes, but in general, it pushes me to be a better self, to be a better researcher, or whatever. But I've talked to people that chosen not to go to university, and they told me they it sounds horrible to them. They couldn't imagine doing that, and it would really drain on their mental side of things. So that's an area you have to keep in mind, that you are quite on your own, even though you're in a community of like-minded students.
Yeah. Interesting insight. Yeah, that's true.
What
I
would you
guess
argue? Do you have something that comes to mind when thinking about what are the challenges? What are the aspects that, while you might be fine with them, that could be a breaking point?
this, what you mentioned, definitely comes to mind. I think I'm fortunate enough that I have naturally maybe accrued some self-discipline. So, for example, the typical example of a student not doing anything during the whole semester and then pulling like 3 all-nighters just before the exam, that fortunately avoids me. I don't have the tendency to do that, quite the opposite. I like to structure my
Same.
studies
Same for me.
over longer periods of time, but of course I have done both. I'm not without the flaw. But that being said, I much more prefer when I structure the how I will study for an exam. I will stretch it out over a longer period of time, have a plan.
Yes.
And that takes work, that takes self-discipline, but it's worth it, I think, because as you said, it helps you become a better person, because this self-discipline you can then use for your personal life, for any ambition or task you are given.
Yeah.
Not only in the university, of course.
100%. It's a benefit for your entire life.
Yes.
Be it in sports, be it in your personal life, your friendship, relationships. It really helps.
Yeah, for sure. But I would also say that it comes with you have to know the priorities. For example, I had certain courses that I know were kind of easy,
Yeah.
and I maybe already had the most of the knowledge that was in the course because I've taken another course, for example.
Yeah.
So I knew that I don't have to study that much, and in that case, maybe I would leave just a day or two to study for
Yeah,
that
yeah.
course. But so
But
maybe
that's also some like experience you gained
Mhm,
during your years of studying that you
for
can
sure.
assess, okay, this is enough, this is too much, this is too little.
Yeah. But maybe the ability to prioritize certain things and to
Yes.
evaluate them
Yeah,
also
yeah.
comes with the university studies.
For sure, that's an important topic.
But you asked me about challenges,
Yes.
and I would say, if we are not mentioning the tendency to procrastinate on everything, as all students do,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
all sometimes have, for
100%.
for me, the most challenging moments in university were usually uh, tied to, I would say, like maybe bad lecturers or bad professors. In a sense, I'll give an example. For example, we had a pretty difficult course on financial management, and I knew it was difficult, so I studied really, really hard for the exam. I went over uh, two different materials, books,
Yeah.
or manuscripts, just to be sure I know everything. I went over the presentations from the lectures, and then I came to the exam, and the professor just asked me a completely different question I have never before heard. I didn't know this was even a topic I have to study. So of course I didn't pass that exam, but I was mostly frustrated about the fact that I had spent this much work and put in this much energy, and it just didn't work out. Not even because of my own abilities, but because they didn't communicate it well enough, or
Yeah.
they didn't organize the course well enough that we know what we should learn.
Yes.
And those frustrating moments sometimes happen in university.
True. Yeah.
But I would maybe twist it, because even though it's very frustrating and it's just a shitty situation to be in that moment,
Yeah.
you can still learn from that. I feel like with the years of my university accumulating, I've sort of become used to some things not working out, even though I just put a lot of effort in, I put a lot of energy in, I do my best. It just doesn't work out the way I want to, and I think that's actually a great life lesson, because that also happens in real life. You sometimes just try your best and it doesn't work out. So
it's not meant to be.
It's not meant to be, exactly.
That's true. And you learn how to deal with these things, and maybe
Exactly.
maybe in the moment not smaller context, but in general in a way more controlled environment, and also with less at stake, I would say. So that's also maybe a soft skill that we took out of university, is this, how to deal with those moments.
Yeah.
Or like how to approach this when you've given your all and it just didn't work out.
The disappointment of life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. Look at us discovering other soft skills. So do you have any challenging moments or challenges that you went through during your university you would like to talk about?
I did. Maybe there were a lot of them, of course, but one main aspect I want to maybe give our listeners
Please do.
to think about is I've studied for a semester of mathematics and just realized I like my minor subject, business, more than my major subject. And I was really struggling with the thought of, can I switch? What will happen if I switch? Should I just stick it out and do it? I was really debating, but basically in the end, I decided I will be much more engaged and way happier when I do the switch and decide I will focus more on the area that I'm really passionate in. And that's an area I would maybe want to give you, the listener, to think about. It's even if you're choosing a subject, it's not kind of carved in stone. You will always learn important things you will apply further along the line. And it's okay to switch if you feel you've hit a wall or you're just not happy anymore, or to flip it to the positive side, you found something you're really passionate about, which is totally fine. It is worth it to switch, and it's an amazing thing to do, to arrive somewhere you feel more at home and feel comfortable in doing it.
Nicely
And
said.
yeah, that applies generally also, not only to studying, but in general. You're not able to see all the paths in the beginning. So if you discover a path you might have not thought would be for you, but you now know it is, do it.
Yeah.
Said generally, but
For sure.
that's something I would give to you. Also, if you're struggling to choose what to do and where to do it, it's not set in stone. You can switch city, you can do an Erasmus, you can do something else, or you can switch topic, switch courses, switch even your whole subject. So give yourself that freedom of doing that.
Oh yeah, maybe
But,
that
yeah.
can be a motivation to try things out. And
For sure.
yeah.
But
So I think we are nearing the end of our episode. So maybe just to wrap this whole thing up. There are of course many topics we could talk about for hours,
for sure.
but we don't want to overwhelm you.
Yeah.
Hopefully we provided you some insight into what university provided us with, what
sure, yeah.
skills or benefits it had,
Yeah.
and perhaps some challenges we went through.
For sure.
So I would just, dear listener, leave you with a very important question, I think,
Yes.
that you have to answer for yourself based on who you are, what you want.
Yeah.
Because university, of course, isn't for everybody, and that's okay.
Yes.
But do you think it's worth it?
Yeah, you have to think about it. But yeah, think about all what we talked about. And maybe on a lighter note, there are also amazing experiences to be had, not only in your growth or your journey to become a better person, but just it's about the friends, the memories you make along the way, in addition to all what we talked about. So yeah, as you said, is it worth it for you?
Yes, let us know. And with that, we'll have to say goodbye to Sam. Thank you again for joining me today.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and that's all from us, I think. So have a nice day and bye.
Bye.